Hey, my name is Chad. This video we're going to talk about my fourth PRS match, find out what I did good, what I did bad, and what I need to work on next. Let's get into it. Okay, so to start out, it was a very cold morning, and I do not do mornings well, and I do not do cold well. So it was not a very pleasant experience getting started. My fingers were very, very cold, and I kind of got there right at time to start. So get all set up, get into it, and my group's going to start on the prone stages, and the very first stage was the spinner stage. And of course, that's the one I was the most worried about because I haven't been able to get the spinner to spin yet. Haven't really practiced it as much as I need to. So that needs to be one of my next high priorities, practicing the spinner, get that down. So on the spinner, it's at 350 yards. And then if you get it to spin, you can go to the IPSC that's at 650 yards. And for that one, we had 8 shots. The max you could score on the spinner was 4 hits. So if you got it to spin in less than 4, you could keep trying to take hits at it before moving to the 650 for your last 4. But anyways, I only got 2 hits on it, but since I didn't get it to spin, I scored 0. So 2 hits, but 0 score. So that was a frustrating way to start the day. So next up was a stage called IPSC and long, which was going at some IPSC targets at 650, 500, 400, and then way out to a round target at 1,050 yards. On this one, we had 8 shots, 2 shots at each of the target ranges. And I went ahead and set up my camera behind me. I figured I'd already started out kind of bad, so might as well get a little bit of footage and just see what happens. On this one, I actually got 2 hits on 650, 2 on 5, 2 on 4, and then my first shot at the 1,050, I saw it go just a little bit over and hit right behind it. So I adjusted, aimed at the lower section of the target, and got my last hit on it. So out of the 8, I got 7 hits on that one. I was pretty happy with that. Next is going to be the chaos stage. So for this one, it's a 7-shot, 45-second time limit, but it's at 375, 475, 575, back to the 475, 375, 475, 575. So on this one, you have to hit the target to move on to the next one. So I get down, get started, and I got my hits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I missed that one, I believe, so I had to re-engage it. And then I got it on the 6th shot and then went to the 475 and got my last shot. So out of the 7, I got 6 hits. Pretty happy with that. So next up is the TYL and claim. So it's like a know your limits type of stage. So there's a rack at 300 yards and then a target at 500 yards. So you have to start at the bigger target on the rack, get your hit there, go out to the farther target at 500, get your hit there, then come back, move on to the next smaller one, and get your hit, then go back out far, get your hit, come back, move on to the next smaller, so on and so forth. That was a 8-shot stage, and I scored 6 out of the 8 on that one. So didn't do too bad. My worst stage was definitely the first one, which is what I kind of expected going into this, was that the spinner was going to eat my lunch again. So you'll have seen I've got some footage. I tried to fly my drone over the area so you could see what, like where some of the targets are at in relation to the starting positions. And also I'll have cut in some of my footage from where I set up my little camera behind just to get some footage of the actual match in progress. So from there we went to the positional stages. First one was the barrel stages. So you have to start with your rifles down on the ground and you start standing up, and they call time. You jump down and take 2 shots at 395 in a prone position, then get up and there's a laid down barrel and then a standing up barrel. You get on the laid down one, 2 shots at a 300, move on to the standing up barrel, 2 shots at the 300, back down to the prone, and from there 2 more shots at the 395. So this is one stage where I had some rookie mistakes on. So they call time, I jump down, get on, and nothing at the trigger. So I'm okay, run the bolt, nothing at the trigger again. I'm sitting there like, what is this? There's no way I've got 2 bad rounds back to back. So I started thinking and realized whether when I jumped down and got on the rifle, I bumped my safety before the stage started. I hit my rifle and it kind of tipped over. So maybe it hit something and popped the safety lever back. But I never set the safety because we're always bolt back and mags out. So I never fiddle with the safety. Didn't even cross my mind, but that was it. Flipped the lever and boom, took my shot, got him a hit, took my next shot, got my hit. So I had to pick up my live round and dropped it in my pocket, got up onto the barrels, and this is where it gets funny also. So on the barrel stage, or on the barrel section, I took my shot and I saw what I thought was splash. So just re-engaged, boom, saw the same thing again, hopped up to the next barrel, boom, boom, jumped down to the ground. And right when I picked up my rifle to get down into the prone position, they said 12 seconds. And I was like, oh man. So I jumped down there real quick, closed my bolt, break the shot, got my hit at the 395, run my bolt. And right when I slammed the bolt down, the timer went off. And so I only got 7 out of the 8 shots on that stage. And I thought all of my shots were hits, but then they said, I caught you down for 3. And I'm like, what? I was like, she's like, yeah, on the barrels, it looked like you were hit behind it. I was like, no, I could have swore I seen them. I saw the splash. The bullets they were blown apart on the target. She's like, no, it looked like they were just right behind it. I was like, oh man. So obviously I thought I was getting hits, but apparently I was hitting just a little bit behind them. So I was seeing the dirt fly up, and I thought it was like the splash from the bullet exploding against the target. So another thing learned, don't always trust your eyes, because maybe you're not getting hits that you think you are. So if I'd have known that, I could have adjusted maybe a little bit down and got my second hit and then the third and fourth one on that part of it, but not how it worked out. So I just scored 3 points on that one officially. And then we go to the tree stage, which was one that I did really bad on the first round. So I was determined to do better on this one. So it was 8 shots. We had a 275 and a 450 and 4 positions marked out on this tree. And from each position, you shoot the close one and the far one, move positions, close, far, etc. So if I'm remembering correctly, my near adjustment was 1.7 and then the far one was 3. So I realized I missed my first shot, and I go up to adjust my turret to the 3, and I see, oh, I was at 1.7. Oh, I was at 1.7 instead of 0.7. That's what it was. So I should have been at 0.7 on the closer target and then 3 for the farther target. When I went up to adjust my dial, I was at 1.7. So at the stage before, I did not go all the way back down to 0, and I came up to what I thought was 0.7. I actually had it at 1.7. So I went over the top. So anyways, I got my second hit, moved positions, and moved my way through that one pretty well, and actually made it all the way to the end. Unlike the first match where I think I only got 3 or 4 shots off out of the 8. So I got all my shots off, but I got 5 hits on that one. So not too bad. Much, much better than my first match. So very happy with that. Just another thing, I need to make sure I'm always going back down to 0. And then, getting my turret set to the right place, because that was a really dumb mistake that cost me for sure 1 point. So instead of the tires at this match, they set up what they call a pyramid. So it was like a 2x4 made contraption, and it had braces going across, and they got gradually narrower. So there were 10 shots on this one, target at 400 and 600. And from each position, you have to take 1 shot at each target. And you have to start at the lowest position and then take your 2 shots, move up to the next position, 2 shots up to the next, etc. On this one, the wind was switchy. It would be right at my back, and then it would come kind of from the side and then right at the back. So I was trying to decide. I thought I should dial 0.2 on the wind just to be safe. One of the other guys suggested, hey, just hold on to the right side of the target. And I decided to go with that instead of what I thought I should do and just dial 2 or 0.2 and aim at the center. So I got down really low to the first round rung of this contraption is like super low to the ground. You're almost laying prone, but I was able to maneuver my body down. Luckily, I'm still kind of limber, and got laid down and got my shots off, but I was not very stable. Like I could tell I was definitely wobbly on that 2x4. And anyways, I made it through, I think, 6 or 8 of the 10 total shots, but I only got 3 hits counted. So not as good of an overall score this time as the third match back in November. So out of the maximum of 57 total hits, I got 30 that counted. I actually got 32 hits, but only 30 that counted for score. So that would have been 53% of the total score is what I ended up with. If we go off of the 54 shots that I took and the fact that I got 32 hits, even though 2 of them didn't count for score, I had about a 60% hit rate. So a couple things. One is back to the Kestrel. So I would notice on some stages when I would go to take my target direction and wind direction, I would be getting directions that didn't really make any sense. Like it would say my target is here and the wind is blowing directly in my face. Well, I knew that wasn't right because it was blowing directly from behind or kind of offset, 4 o'clock or so from behind. So somehow, in some ways, when I'm using the Kestrel, I'm either too close to my phone in my pocket or I was too close to my rifle itself. There's magnets on my dope card holder. So something, when I was using this at times, I would be getting some wrong directions. The process of uploading the info onto my phone and then just sending the target distances, that worked really well. But I need to do a little more. I was playing with it a little bit this evening, and I think I figured out I'm either too close to my body or holding it a little bit at a wrong angle. So I'm going to work on that more the next time, like hold it further out at arm's length away, see if I can get it down. But I know now what to watch for, so when I see numbers that don't make sense, I was able to manually go in and kind of correct them and still get mostly where I needed to be. This thing worked out excellent. So I was able to keep all of my ammo together. As you can see here, I mean, it stayed very well together. And I was able to get my empties to fit in here easily, so I didn't have any problem with that. But highly recommend this. This was a much better deal. Easier to just grab this in my matchbook that has all my notes and papers and stuff and just carry these two together from one stage to another. And that made life quite a bit easier. I highly recommend that ammo novel. It's worth it. Give it a try. Another thing, it was not too awful dirty this time, so my bolt is fairly clean. I'm quite pleased with that. So I don't have a whole lot of cleanup to do. I do just have some things that I need to work on. So, identified a few more problems that I'm having with the Kestrel. Seems like every time I solve one problem, I find something else that I'm doing wrong and have to figure out the solve for that. But I'm happy that each round I'm finding things that I'm doing wrong, correcting them, and then not having that same issue at the next match. But I do keep finding new things that I'm doing wrong. So, like, I am still getting some wrong info into the Kestrel. That deal where I dialed the wrong elevation in, thinking I was at 0.7 when I was actually at 1.7. That was just me not paying attention, hitting the safety on accident, and just it didn't even register to me for the first time that could have even been an issue. So these are the things I need to just, more practice and go into more matches. I'll get those things down naturally as I go along. So as usual, I got more to work on, but I'm going to keep at it and we'll have another match in January. We'll see how we do there. So yeah, I hope you liked hearing about how my 4th PRS match went. Not quite as good as I hoped I would do, but overall not bad for my first year, 4th match. I'm still learning a lot at every one of these, and I know I've got a lot I still need to work on. I do need to work on getting more stable off of these barricades and obstacles that we have to shoot from. So that might be the next thing I need to put more time in, is just practicing on getting set up and stable. And I thought I had it down, but when we went to that pyramid thing with the 2x4s, laying up on a 2x4 short ways, that's a very thin place to get stable on with a heavy rifle. But now that I know what I need to work on, you better believe I'm going to get some time in and get it figured out, because I don't like doing less than I think I should be able to do. So I'm going to keep getting better. I hope you stick around and see how I do in the future. If you liked learning about my 4th PRS match, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed so you can follow along. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here soon. I've got a couple things picked out. We're going to do a pretty cool giveaway, I think. So make sure you're following along. You don't want to miss that whenever we get there. Hey, if you liked hearing about my 4th PRS match, make sure you thumbs up the video, subscribe so you can follow along, see how I do better and worse at each of my next matches. I know I'm going to do some things better, and I'll keep finding things that I need to work on. So if you want to follow along as somebody very new is getting into this, make sure you're subscribed so you can keep up with what I'm doing out here all the time. I really appreciate every single person that watches my videos. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.